What's up YouTube, welcome back to another video on my channel Skotrix, and today as you can see we are back on NBA 2K21. Well, sort of, I'm not actually on the game, but you can see right here on the screen I have a ranking chart up here, and I'm going to be ranking all the best shooting badges in the game. From top tier badges, which go in this S category at the top, and then A is the second best category, B, C, D, E, F, and F would be the worst category. You guys probably already know that, but if anybody didn't understand that, that's how it's going to work. And this is going to be for all positions, so whether you're a center, a point guard, a wing, power forward, shooting guard, whatever you are, this is going to be a good video for you to watch. I'm going over all the shooting badges and I'm going to be ranking them on this chart, and I'll talk a little bit about why I put them where I put them in the chart and explain which positions they're good for and which positions I wouldn't recommend them for. So without further ado, let's get right into the video here. Alright, so let's get started here. I'm going to be starting off with catch and shoot. I'm going to be going in alphabetical order, and for catch and shoot, I'm putting this in the B category. The reason I put it in the B category is because it's really good for non-ball handling builds to have catch and shoot. If you have enough badges to get catch and shoot on Hall of Fame, do it. If you don't, put it on silver. It's going to give you a good boost. Even at silver, it's a really good badge. If you're the primary ball handler, you probably don't need catch and shoot. You can probably ignore it for other badges, but if you're not, if you're a catch and shoot player, obviously you're going to want catch and shoot. Next up is going to be clutch shooter. I'm going to put clutch shooter in the D category. And the reason why I'm putting it in the D category is because I really just don't see the purpose for it or the value for it to get over other badges. There's just so many better badges that can perform for you in the clutch and throughout the whole game, and I think it's really important to have other badges in front of clutch shooter. But if you have like 30 shooting badges or something and you want to put on clutch shooter at the end, you know, that's something that you can consider doing, but I don't recommend it. I put it in the D category. It's not the worst that a badge could be, but it's in the middle, a little bit below the middle. And up next we got corner specialist. This is an amazing badge. I'm putting this in the A category, even above catch and shoot. And the reason why I'm putting it in the A category is because it's good for every single build. Whether you're a center or a wing that's posted up in the corner, you need to shoot threes from the corner, or you're a play shot or a scoring machine or whatever that's running and shooting fadeaways in the corner, or whatever you're doing. This is an amazing badge for you. Corner specialist is one of the best badges in the game for shooting, and it's something that you're going to definitely want to invest in. Now next up we got Deadeye. I'm also going to put this in the B category with catch and shoot right here. This is a really good badge. It works best for guards in my opinion. If you're a big man, you really shouldn't be shooting unless you're wide open, unless you're maybe like a stretch forward that has like an 85 3 ball. Then maybe you could put up a shot with a small contest, but I really don't think you should be shooting contested unless you have a high three-pointer. So I'm putting it in the B category because it is really good for some builds, but it's not good for other builds, and it's not a badge that I would recommend over any of the badges that I'm putting in the higher categories. It's something that you could get later on in your progression of badges. It's not something that's a priority to get right away, so I'm putting it in the B category right here. Now next up we got deep fades. This one I'm going to put in the E category right here. It's not quite the bottom category, but it's pretty close. I don't recommend this badge for anybody really. The only type of build that I would recommend this badge for is if you have like a 90 plus post fade big man build, then by all means get this badge on Hall of Fame. But for everybody else, I don't really think this is a good badge at all. I don't recommend it at all. I think you can basically just go ahead and ignore it. It's not really an important badge. You don't really see too many people shooting post fades in the game, and you don't really need to be able to shoot post fades, so you should be good without deep fades. And next up we have difficult shots. I'm going to put difficult shots in the S tier, but hear me out. This might change. 2K might, you know, patch or do something to the leaning shots, fading shots, all that. They might patch it, because last year this is exactly how it was, how the game is right now. Leaning shots, fading shots, it was all good. It was all just like shooting standstill shots, but that might change. But right now, difficult shots is one of the best shooting badges in the game without a doubt for any guard. Any guard, it's a necessity basically to have difficult shots, so get it on. It's a really important badge, but again, that might change. If you're watching this video a little while after it comes out, you might want to look into if 2K has patched difficult shots or fading shots or whatever, leaning shots. But for right now, it's in the S tier. Now let's keep going. Flexible release is up next. I'm going to put this in the B tier also. I know some people don't think this badge is good, but it really isn't that bad, to be honest. A lot of people think that it only helps on early and late releases. That's 100% untrue. It's 100% a lie. 2K Labs has tested this, and it does help you on shots that are as little as 10 milliseconds outside of the green window. And for perspective, most jump shots have about a 50 millisecond green window. So 10 milliseconds outside of that window is not a lot. That's not an early or a late release. That's a slightly early or slightly late release, and this badge can help you out with that. So if you don't know your jump shot, put this badge on. The reason I'm putting it in the B category is because a lot of people will know their jump shot, so it's not the best badge for them. I wouldn't recommend it. But if you don't know your jump shot, if you can't green consistently, put flexible release on. It'll be worth the investment. You'll make a ton more shots, and it's really just worth it to put it on. And next we have the complete opposite of flexible release, and that's green machine. And I'm going to put green machine in the C category right here. The only builds that I recommend green machine for are guards that shoot a lot. If you don't shoot a lot in games, if you don't take at least probably 5 or 6 shots in park games, then I would not recommend Green Machine for you. It's probably not the badge for you because it takes 2 shots even just to activate it on the 3rd shot, and you have to green both of those 2 shots just to activate it on the 3rd shot, and if you miss, it's gone. So you really don't want to put this badge on unless you're shooting enough that you can consistently get it throughout games. You know, if you're only taking an average of 3 or 4 shots per game, let's say you just make all those shots, which is unrealistic, nobody makes all their shots, but let's say you make all your shots, then you'll really only get it for the second last and the last shot that you take every game, or just the last shot. It's really not worth it. The boost is not that significant, especially if you don't have a ton of badges in the first place. You're going to need other badges to make those 2 first shots in the first place. Hopefully that all makes sense to you guys. But yeah, I would not recommend Green Machine unless you're a guard that's taking majority of the shots for your team. And next up we have Hot Start. This is basically just a worse version of Green Machine. I'm going to put this in the E category. You don't need this badge, really. You know, everybody basically knows what it does. It gives you a little boost if you make your first shot. Every shot after that is a little boost until you miss, and then the boost is gone for the rest of the game. And I really don't recommend this badge. There's so many better badges for every build, every play style. There's so many different better badges. Don't put Hot Start on, it's not worth it. But next we have one of the best badges in the game, and that's Hot Zone Hunter. If you have Hot Zones, put Hot Zone Hunter on, period. No matter how many shooting badges you have, get Hot Zone Hunter on at least bronze. If you can, Hall of Fame. If you can't get Hall of Fame shooting badges, which most builds in this game can, but if you can't, if you can only get it to gold, put it on gold. It's a super good badge as long as you have hot zones. If you don't have hot zones, it does nothing, so don't worry about it. But if you have hot zones, put this badge on. It's super good, and you'll notice a big increase in your shooting abilities. So next we have Ice and Veins. I'm gonna put this at F. If you need Ice and Veins, I don't know, you're probably either just playing Rec or Pro-Am and you didn't upgrade your free throw, which is weird. If you're gonna be a Rec or Pro-Am player, upgrade your free throw, and you'll be able to make any clutch free throw that you need to without Ice and Veins. There's so many better badges to invest in, and if you're a park player, obviously this badge does absolutely nothing for you, so that's why I'm putting it in the F category. It's really a terrible badge, and I don't recommend anybody putting it on. But next we have Pick and Popper, and I'm gonna put this one, it's really right about here in between D and E, but I'll put it in the D category, but it's really probably the lowest D category badge. The only build that I would really recommend putting Pick and Popper on is for a shooting big man that has at least 20 shooting badges. So basically it would have to be a pure green shooting big man. Or if you have a glass lock and you literally just run the pick and pop every single play, then it's probably worth investing in. But otherwise I would not invest in this badge. It doesn't give that big of a boost, and it's just really not the best badge. Plus for guards it's basically useless, so I'm going to put it in the D category. It's really not the best badge, but it's not as bad as this next one that we got here, and that is Pump Fake Maestro. This goes in the F category. Enough said on that. And next we have one of the best badges in the game, without a doubt, probably the best badge in the game honestly, and that's Range Extender. That goes straight into the S category. Range Extender is an amazing badge. No matter what your build is, put Range Extender on. Even if you don't have a shooting build, just put Range Extender on. If you need to shoot, it's going to be the best badge that you can have. The best shooting badge in the game, in my opinion. If there was a tier above S, I would put Range Extender in there. But anyways, let's just keep going. Next we have Slithery Finisher. This goes in the E category. It's basically useless, to be honest, unless the only thing that I would ever use this badge for is if you're also a good slashing build along with shooting, or even if you can't shoot and you can just slash. This might be a good badge because it can help you sort of get around contact, so you can get alley-oop dunks when you're driving to the rim, because everybody knows how annoying it is when you're driving to the rim or your teammate's driving to the rim and you get a lob pass and it just, you know, somebody bumps the guy who's going to the rim and it goes out of bounds or something crazy happens, but the lob doesn't work. So that's really what slippery off ball is good for. It's not good for shooting, it's mostly good for actually finishing. That's the only way I would recommend it. And next up we got Steady Shooter. This also goes straight to the F category. If you guys don't know what Steady Shooter does, I'll break it down really quickly. It basically makes you miss wide open shots more often and make contested shots more often. So pretty much useless. It's already hard enough to make open shots in this game. You don't need another thing hindering you like Steady Shooter does. Don't put it on. No matter what, don't put it on. But next up we got another really good badge. This badge is right in between the S and the A category right here. I'm going to put it in the A category because we already got a lot in the S, but that's Tireless Shooter. This badge is amazing for guards. It's amazing for guards. Obviously the stamina in this game is brutal, so you want Tireless Shooter because you shoot, you know, if you're a guard, you know, you shoot tired shots almost every single shot if you're dribbling before you shoot. It's almost impossible to avoid. You know, if you're a big man, this badge probably isn't the way to go for you. But if you're a guard, this is a 100% necessity badge. You need Tireless Shooter on your build. It's probably the third badge that I would put on after Range Extender, Difficult Shots, and maybe Hot Zone Hunter if you have hot zones, if you have lots of hot zones. But like I said, this is an amazing badge. It's right here in between A and S. The reason I'm not really putting it into A is because it's not good for centers really. So I'm going to leave it right here in this category. And for the last badge right here, we got Volume Shooter. Now Volume Shooter is a really good badge, but kind of like Green Machine, it's only really good if you're taking all of the shots on the team. So I'm going to put it in the same category as Green Machine. I would recommend this badge actually slightly over Green Machine. I do think it's ever so slightly better, not a big boost over Green Machine. It's really personal preference what you would rather have, but I like having Volume Shooter. My favorite tier to put this badge on is Silver. I love having Volume Shooter on Silver. If you're a guard, once you get some of these badges above Volume Shooter, make sure you put it on Silver. You'll notice a big difference if you're taking most of the shots on your team. But anyways, that's going to be it. You guys can see right here, this is the ranking of all the best shooting badges in NBA 2K21. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm on the come up for real in 2K21. Road to 5K subs. Make sure you sub right now so you can say you were here before 5K subs. And also go follow my Twitch. I'll have the link in the description. I really appreciate all y'all who've been showing support over there. But anyways, that's going to be it. Alright. Peace.